speakers and coaches. Welcome to today's training. We are talking all about speaking habits that might be deflecting your audience and harming your voice. I think the way I had it set up was the opposite, but it's both. It's both. So let me know if you are here, and you know what? Drop your speaking habits. So if you think you know something that you do that might be harming your voice, or maybe just not such a great habit, drop it in the comments in case I don't have it, in case I wasn't planning to discuss it, then I can bring it up. I can let you know in the comments, or I can talk about it right here in the live. All right, I hope that you're all having a wonderful Thursday wherever you are. It is hot here, hot. And so the hair is getting bigger, but I like it. I am never gonna complain about the heat. Okay, for those of you who may be new here, maybe this is your first live, maybe you're like, who the heck is this woman? And why am I here? Let me tell you. Okay. I'm Emanuela Hall. I am a speaking and visibility coach, and I help female coaches and speakers and entrepreneurs to show up online and become dynamic speakers so that they can effortlessly attract more of those dream clients and book more of those great gigs that they have in their mind, in their dreams. Okay, so if that is you, you are in the right place. This group is all about sharing some tips, giving you some real concrete things you can implement right away in your business, in your voice, in your visibility, in your story, in your messaging that are gonna help you move forward. But of course, if you really wanna go deeper, you can message me, we can get on a quick call, see if you may need some additional support. So stick around until the end, because after I talk about the habits, I'm going to let you know about something that I have. Okay? All right. All right. Say hi if you're here. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. I'm seeing this little thing right now. It's kind of bugging me. I just fixed that. Don't want to be distracted through the whole live. Okay, friends. So the first few things I'm going to talk about really have to do with technique and like vocal production. So these are things you may have never thought about if you've never been a singer, if you've never taken any voice training, speaking training, if you've never been on stage or worked with an acting coach. You may have never even thought of these things. So these may be like, wow, I didn't even think of that. And then the next three are more like habits in terms of delivery, okay, in terms of style. So the first few are really going to talk about how that could be hurting your voice and really just not making the most of your vocal instrument, okay? When it comes to speaking, there are so many elements that can influence, can hinder, can affect the way that we sound and the way that we're perceived. So most of the time, this is what I see in the industry is people talk about, you know, body language, which is super important. They talk about the words, the messaging, you know, the setup of the talk. But not a lot of people are talking about your voice unless they're voice coaches. And I think it's super important to think about the sounds that we make, because those sounds are the first thing that are going to affect the way people feel about you. Okay, let me say that again. Those sounds are going to affect the way people feel about you. Think about music, right? You put on a piece of music that you love and it moves you, it stirs some emotion in you. Put on something that is not for you, it's not your style, it's not your genre, and you're like, it stirs a whole different emotion, right? So there's two pieces of this. Sometimes it's about our quality of our voice, but sometimes we're just not for everybody, right? So your job as a speaker is to utilize your voice to its fullest potential. Roger Love, the very famous voice coach, says a piano has 88 keys. And most of us are using our instrument only like a few keys. We want to use more range, and I'm going to get to that. First, let me talk about what I mean by habits, okay? Because Like I said, there are lots of different habits. Habits can be like using your hands, right? Touching your hair. Been doing that. Habits can be where you look, what you do with your face. Habits can be your pace, your rhythm, right? And so in the industry, we call a lot of things speaking blocks. These are things that are consciously or subconsciously affecting your voice and inhibiting it from being free, creative, and powerful. Right? We want our voices to resemble those first sounds we made when we were babies. Those free sounds, whether that was fear, joy, excitement, pain, but they were free, they were uninhibited. And then as life gets in the way, just like life affects our mindset, our daily actions, it affects our voice. And we start to change our voice, usually subconsciously. Sometimes we mimic the voices we hear to fit in, or because we're very young and we think that's how we're supposed to sound. Sometimes we quiet our voice. Sometimes we raise the volume because we need to be heard. Maybe if you're in a big family, we're always loud. Okay, so this is what I mean by habits. Some habits don't need to go away because they make you you. Okay, and I encourage my clients that sometimes those things, those little idiosyncrasies, make you you. I don't want everybody to walk out on stage or to turn on the camera and look the same. That would be boring. But I just want you to be more aware so that you can potentially improve or change something that might not be having the effect on your audience and certainly not on your vocal cords as you would like. Got it? Comprende? Hope that makes sense. Okay. So today specifically, we're not going to be talking about speaking blocks that might be physical or mindset blocks because speaking blocks go way, way, way deeper than just the voice. We're going to be talking about voice. Okay? All right. So you can get your pen and paper ready. I'll get my water. Numero uno. And this, I'm going to start with the one that I deal with and that I have to be really conscious of. And this is what I call the pusher. The pusher. The pusher is usually someone who maybe had to speak loud in a big family. Could be cultural too. I'm Italian, so we're just loud talkers. But the pusher is someone who's speaking really from their chest and their throat. So it's really like, you can really hear it here, right? Or here. Hi, it's all pushed. And you will know if you're a pusher, if after a day of speaking a lot, your voice is really sore. So this is how I know that this is something that I need to work on and that I have been working on. So your vocal cords, right, they run like this and they essentially just vibrate, right? So breath comes through, we breathe air in through our nose, into our lungs, and then what creates sound is the vibrating vocal cords, right? And all the little fibers along them. But if they're smacking together really hard, because we're only speaking from our throat, we're gonna get red. They're gonna get sore. So how do we avoid this? How do we improve this? If this is your habit, write pusher down in the comments, okay? One great way to start, one great place to start is with the breath. No, you hear me talk about the breath all the time. If we are pushing from our throat, usually it means we're not engaging our diaphragm. And how do we engage our diaphragm? We engage our diaphragm by taking those big, deep belly breaths. There's lots of trainings on breathing. You can look them up. You should be doing some diaphragmatic breathing and really focusing on the belly. And the other thing I'm going to talk about very briefly, because this is a very deep thing we could talk about, is resonance. If you're talking with just your throat and you're pushing from here, not only is it going to hurt, but it doesn't produce a very good sound. The best sounds that we can create resonate in our mouth first, in the back of specifically the soft palate area, and then they come out, right? It's just like a wind instrument, right? Like the sound kind of flows through the tuba, and then it resonates at the end and pops out. And when we know when our voices are resonating, right? If you've ever been to a concert or the opera or an orchestra, and you feel those like the vibrations, and you feel maybe your hair sticking up, you feel that chill down your spine, because there's a lot of resonance in the sounds. We ideally want to be speaking with a voice that resonates. So this is not only going to help protect your vocal cords, it's going to give a better quality sound. And this is something I work on with clients to help them find their resonating tone. And then you're going to speak within a range of that tone. Okay, so number one is the pusher. Number two is the nasally talker. This one's a little easier to identify, right? People are pretty definitively nasal speakers or not. Drop me a nasal if you think you are. You probably know somebody who is. Right, now this one might not actually hurt your vocal cords as much, but it just gives a very like squeaky vibe. And it kind of gives that vibe of like, I know everything, you know? And so this is when, instead of resonating in our mouths, the sound is resonating in our nose. So it goes up and around, and it kind of comes in here or in our sinuses. And that can be a technique we use in singing if you're like singing as a character, but when we're speaking every day like that, ooh, right? What kind of feeling is that giving your audience? So if you are a nasally speaker, what I want you to really think about when you're talking is your lips. Okay, you can start with just humming. Instead of, hum and feel if your nose and your cheeks are vibrating more than your lips, then you need to mentally focus on pushing that sound towards your lips. Really like the tip of your lips. Okay? Oh yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing I live on. Okay, and then the other really technical piece, this is the heady or breathy person, typically a female. Now, this gives off the vibe, this airier, breathier, kind of, I think of like they're resonating up here really high in their head. And they're like, I really want to be liked by people. I really want to be a people pleaser. I'm so nice. Okay? Now the problem with this voice is that it's disengaged. It doesn't give much depth. It doesn't feel grounded. And if you want to be a leader, you want to influence people, and you're talking all breathy, I don't know about you, but that's not very strong. Again, we don't want to be pushing from the throat. We don't want to be nasally. We want to be engaged. We want that core to be working. So a fun little exercise you can do if you feel like you're really heady, really breathy, really up here is ha 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 ha. Right? This is just laughing. Put your hands on your belly and do a few fake laughs. You'll eventually start laughing for real, but that's going to help you feel what you should be feeling even when you're speaking, not just when you're singing. Again, if you're a singer, you understand that feeling of being engaged, but if you're just a speaker, right? You maybe have never thought of your stomach, your core, your diaphragm, your abdomen working. So, hello. See how my voice has a little more power, a little more robustness to it? Help me with another adjective. But it's a little more than like up here. And I probably see this the most with female online entrepreneurs. because how do I say this? Especially if they are meditation teachers, yoga instructors, spiritual coaches, that kind of thing. And we want to give off that air of being super relaxed and super chill. We don't need to put on a voice. We don't need to be breathy. That breathiness does not do anything for our throat. Okay? So number 1, the pusher. Number 2, the nasally. And number 3, breathy. Head. So now you're thinking, right, different spots, right? We can push with our throat and our chest. We can push with our nose. We can push with our head. We want to be in here. Our mouths are amazing resonators. Just many of us are not using them to their fullest potential because we're not using our whole mouth when we speak. That's another topic for another day. I think I have a training in here about articulators and warming them up, but if you're not barely moving your lips or moving your jaw, you're not going to get a lot of resonance. And I'm super exaggerating. But I do see a lot of people just kind of talking like this, and they get away with it because they don't ever know that they have so much jaw tension. All right, let's keep going. Hello, Cassandra. Cassandra and Levon in the house. You ladies know all this already. They're in the Impact Collective. Okay, number 4. Number 4. So now we're going to move into more of the delivery style type things that I see. Aloha. I hope you're learning some Hawaiian dances. So those first 3 are more about your technique. And the next few are going to be more about style delivery. Okay, so this is what I call the questioner, who's not really sure because all of her sentences sound kind of like a question. And I'm exaggerating to give you the effect, right? Hello, I'm Emanuela Hall, and I help women who want to become dynamic speakers. Everything goes up at the end like it's a question. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not saying you should never do that. But if we're constantly kind of doing that, then we don't really give a feeling of assurance. We want to think of 3 lines, right? When we speak, one just goes straight, one goes up, and one goes down. They can all be used in the right time, in the right space, in the right moment. We just don't want to do them all the same. So I've kind of given away the last 2. Okay, so the first one is that inflection is the questioner, and you're very unsure, and you're not really direct, and you're asking people questions when you should be giving a clear statement. Then we have the repetitive inflection. So this could be up, down statement, but it's the same throughout their whole entire talk. This sounds something like this. Hello, everybody. I'm Emanuela Hall, and I help women who like to become better speakers. Did you see how every sentence sounded the same? And it went back down, right? We want to change it up. We want to go up. We want to go down. We want to use our full range. Remember, 88 keys on the keyboard. You could have at least 5 keys. And then the last one is, again, this one's a very obvious one to point out. I don't see this too much, thank goodness, from women. I actually see this more in men, or hear this more in men. It's the monotone. Hello, I'm Emanuela Hall. I am a speaking coach, and I help women to become dynamic speakers. Wasn't a lot of range there, right? Maybe a note up, a note down. Pretty much the same. Okay? So these may be things, right? Those last 3 are things that even your audience doesn't really know why they don't jive with you, but there's just something about you. It's like, She's got great content. She's super professional. She knows what she's talking about, but I just can't watch her. And I don't know why. And it could be that the sound of your voice is the same and it's really irritating after a while, but they don't even know that because they don't even know what they don't like. It's very subconscious. Very subconscious. Let's review. We got the pusher. Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk from my throat. We have the nasally person who, yes, it could be from where you live, right? There's a lot of hello. I'm from Michigan. And then there's really heady, breathy. I just want to be liked. I'm super sexy. Then there's the questioner. It's totally fine. Everything's cool. Then there's the repetitive. Always speaking the same, the exact same tone, the exact same rhythm for every single sentence. And then there is the monotone that doesn't really offer a lot of range in their voice. It's always the same kind of note or two. So let me know which one you think you might be. And if you're like, I'm none of those, then rock on with your bad self. If you feel like you may have one of those or something else, right? Drop it in the comments. I have obviously did not cover like every single thing, but these are some really common ones that I've seen that come up a lot. Let me know what you think yours might be. And also, told you to stick around till the end. I am opening up 5 spots only for a free voice consult. The voice consult is a very quick little call where we talk about where your speaking blocks may be, where you want to go with your voice and your speaking, how you want it to feel, how you want it to look, how you want it to sound when you speak on camera, and some tangible things you can do to get started. So if you want one of those free calls, drop a voice in the comments and I will send you the link. Let me check the feedback here. The comments. Levon says, we may know it, but we can still fall back into bad habits. Yes, absolutely. Myself included. You know, and there's something to say, thank you, Levon, for that, because I'm remembering. Even myself, I notice if I'm doing a live later in the evening and I had a day where maybe I was with my kids and I haven't warmed up my voice. I've been maybe pushing all day. My voice is going to be tired and I'm going to start to adopt habits that I normally wouldn't. So we want to really choose when we show up on camera an optimal time where it's not first thing in the morning, we haven't spoken yet, but it's not late at night and we're super tired, right? We want to be effective with our videos. And even see there, another great thing, you can go back into the guide section and watch the training with Elise Nacarado. She's my voice teacher. We talked a lot about this and she also identified some things that she sees people doing. A lot of them are similar. So go back if you want to dig in a little deeper. That's a really, really great training. Levon says, I tend to push from the throat, even though I know better. Yeah. It's, again, for me, it's very cultural. We were just like, I see this in my own mom. And I tell her all the time, start speaking with your chest, breathe a little deeper. But we can change that, right? We can change the paradigm. We can stop the generational cycle. So that we can teach our kids to speak better, to speak more confidently, more engaged. All right. Cassandra, hello. All right, ladies, I will see you both at 5:30 today. If you are watching the replay, please let me know. Let me know what your big takeaways. Like I said, if you want a voice consult, drop voice in the comments, and we will be in touch. Have a great Thursday.